Welcome and many thanks for joining us on our Business Chat segment. My name is Abi Agina. Today we'll be talking to the Director General of the National Transport and Safety Authority, Francis Major, just to get his perspectives on what has been happening of late now that we are coming to the close of the festive season.
Yes.
And your authority put up quite a number of measures in place to actually deal with issues of road safety. In your own rating, how have you performed in the last month?
Well, I would say there's been an improvement, obviously. It's not where we want to be. When I look at the statistics for December, which has traditionally been known to have very high fatality rates, as at yesterday, we had a drop in fatalities by about 14%, which is slightly above the annual average. So far we are doing well, but a lot more needs to be done, because when you look at the absolute numbers, so far we've lost about actually it's quite a number, about over 200 people in the month of December alone. That is still very high. Yes.
And looking at these numbers, there are quite a number of initiatives that you mentioned when it comes to issues of overspeeding,
yes,
and also just ensuring that there are speed limits. Are Kenyans following these rules?
There's been a slight improvement, and we have identified the critical areas. One of them is obviously speed. Many people are still driving above the recommended speed limits, which is a big risk. The issue of drunk driving is also there, but there's been a significant improvement on that one. Their levels of awareness are very high. The other issue is the issue of fatigue, which we have witnessed, and this particularly affects the commercial vehicles. And most of the fatalities that we've seen of late, commercial vehicles are involved. The last one is yesterday, where a truck rammed into a matatu and 7 people died on the spot. So this is an area we will be focusing on going forward, because we feel strongly that it is high time that regulations around this sector be enhanced.
And also in connection to that, the issue of the speed guns, we've not seen much of them being used. Is it that there is a shortage, or what are the plans moving forward to equip the policemen and the people manning the roads with these gadgets?
We've actually have quite in terms of tools. There is an improvement, and we are working jointly with the traffic police so that we use the resources that are available in the most optimal way. And we've used these equipments, particularly speed guns, to detect motorists who are moving very high. And the numbers that we are getting are very high on a daily basis. They are not enough, but we've made arrangements, and we are actually in the process of procuring additional equipment so that each and every police officer, possibly on the road, will have a speed gun to be able to detect speed, because speed has been identified as one of the most serious actually attributes to the fatalities on our road.
A month or two before, you mentioned that there's been a drop, especially in drunk driving, and we saw the issue of the breathalyzers coming on board. So far, how would you rate this? And also in connection to that, looking at the incidents that we are seeing of accidents, are we also seeing a drop or a rise, especially when it comes to drunk driving, noting very well that we're in the festive month? Obviously,
the levels of awareness has been very significant, and all the friends we meet, no one today can comfortably drink and drive, unlike there before. And from the reaction we've been having, we used to get stories like, during those days when we used to drink and we didn't care what will happen, are long gone. Everybody now is aware that you can't drink and drive, because you don't know at what point you will be checked. I think the point is we must sustain this program throughout the coming years, and until people know that it is not possible for you to drink and drive.
Two last questions as we wind up. One of the issues that is coming up is that along the highways, we still have the 50 kph speed limit. And ordinarily, most of the motorists would experience it along the major built-up areas. But the signage is actually being put also on the highways. Is it right in the sense that it is a highway and there's this speed limit? Because it leaves motorists in a fix, because they're trying to balance the speed as well as the kind of road they're driving in. And lastly, what are your next initiatives into the next year?
I think the most important point is that you must observe road signage. Wherever you see a signage that is restricting you in terms of speed, you are bound to respect that signage. The reason is for good reason. It's with good intention, because maybe you are new to a road, you don't know how the general area of the place is, so you must be guided by road signage. Road signage in terms of limiting speeds in urban areas is a common practice all over the world, that in build-up areas, motorists are not allowed to move in very high speeds. It is even worse in our country, where people cross the road, not necessarily using the designated points. So the risk of being killed on the road are very high. And actually 46% of our total fatalities are attributed to pedestrians who are knocked down by motorists, speeding motorists. By reducing speed, we'll be saving very, very many lives of innocent citizens. Going forward, I think we must sustain these programs, and the publicity and awareness campaign must be sustained throughout the year. Surveillance and enforcement needs to be throughout the year. And if we can maintain that momentum that we have already set, I believe these fatalities will significantly come down.
Thank you for making time to be with us. Well, we've been speaking to Francis Major, the Director General of the NTSA, who says they will forge on with the initiatives they have